Welcome back, everybody, to Two Guys, Three Crowns, the podcast about what it's really like to live in Stockholm, Sweden. Join me, Sean, and my fellow American Rodney as we explore the good, the bad, and the just plain weird.
Back in Sweden.
Doesn't have quite the same.
Didn't quite there. I was saying back. Yes, sirree, Bob. And
Let me
Sean.
ask you a question real quick.
Okay.
What day do you think it is?
It feels kind of Thursday-ish. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I don't even know where to begin, but I had promised you that I had a brief summary because we kind of left people hanging in the last episode right before my journey back. Mm-hmm. And I will try to keep it brief. Obviously, I made it back. Here I am. I'm back. I'm here. I'm in.
He's somewhere along the space-time continuum somewhere.
Yes, I am back in. I'm back in Nynäshamn, back in Stockholm. I am still suffering from jet lag, which is astounding.
East, it is the worst.
Hey, I think this is probably just about the worst that it's been. I mean, it's not worse as in like a painful or bad experience. It's just your clock, you know, your internal clock is just all out of whack, and mine is still. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock. I just wake up. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm up. I'm ready.
Well, let's do this. That it takes you the same number of days as the number of time zones that you flew through to recalibrate yourself.
Okay. Well, in a few weeks, I'm hoping to be back to normal. and the thing about it is, it's tough because of the early wake up, obviously. You know, you wake up, you're awake. The last couple mornings I've tried to do the thing where I shut my eyes and I pretend and just think I'm going to go back to sleep again. And then 15 minutes later, you just know that it's a hopeless battle. It's just suck it up and accept the fact that you are now up and you're blessed with a couple more extra hours in the day.
Yep.
However, the flip side of this awesome jet lag coin are the evenings. And it's not driving Lena crazy, but right around 7:30, I start fading. And, you know, it doesn't really matter what we're watching. It's just kind of...
Yeah, it is 7:30 here Sunday evening, and I can tell for the audience at home, Rodney's like half transparent. That's how much he's fading.
Yeah, I'm
like Back to the Future style.
Right. And we have an exciting guest coming up, and we have rescheduled the guest we have. Something popped up. We had moved our episode a little bit later, and we're like 30 minutes. No problem. We can do that, which pushes it into the evening for us. And then he got back to us a little while ago. And he was like, well, can we push it another 30? And I was like, ooh,
he's not going to make it.
That's not happening. That's not happening today. So we will reschedule, and that's something fun that's going to be coming up. So yeah, I mean, other than the jet lag, the trip back was really, it was kind of anticlimactic, to tell you the truth, just because of everything that we have all gone through in my trip, and everybody knowing, everybody that's been along for this crazy ride, knows what I went through, getting the temporary passport, and just trying to figure out if, how things were going to go on the trip back. And it was extremely, it was kind of uneventful. I was hoping for more, and that's probably going to come back to haunt me in a future trip.
You put all that karma out there.
I can feel it now. They're going to be like, oh, you want a little bit of...
You need a little extra hot sauce.
Yeah, bam. But and it was everything. It was from check-in to the flight. I got in the wrong line. There was just a huge line of people trying to check in. And people next to me, I heard them saying, well, don't we have boarding passes? Yeah, we have boarding passes, don't we? So they took their stuff, and I see them kind of go around into this other line that has like 3 people in it. So I stood in line, and I'm looking at these other people going, well, I mean, I checked in yesterday, and I have boarding pass. So I told the people in front of me, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go over there real quick and check and see what's happening over there. And then when I was in that line, I see where it says it's just to drop your bags off.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that's where I kind of stepped out of my Swedish self and took a chance, left the big line where I felt comfortable. I felt like I was just, I was part of everybody else. I was in there, in there to win it. And then I was like, yeah. And it's a little tough to do things like that when you travel by yourself. Because if you're with somebody else, you can leave the bags and everything and just kind of stroll over there. But when you do something adventurous like this at an airport by yourself, you're lugging all your stuff with you, you know. So it's like you're going all the way over. But as I'm standing in line, and I'm thinking, okay, that was worth the chance, worth the risk. Even if they kick me out, I'm just going to go back to the big line. A new agent opens up another check-in counter, and he comes over to me. He's like, hey, I'll check you in right over here.
Ooh.
And I was like,
please.
Yeah, I was like, what's
How much I gotta pay you?
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? So I go over to him, and I had weighed my bag, so I knew that I was like a couple of grams beneath.
With the spam.
With the spam, with 8 cans of spam.
Amazing.
Yeah, and 2 big jumbo bottles of lotion, of this body lotion. There's an Aveeno body lotion that's not available here yet. They have Aveeno products, and I've been buying it from England. But at Costco,
I get the spam thing, but I never would have pegged you for like a black market lotion kind of guy.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. But it was anyway. So I'm in the line. The guy is. I'm trying to make small talk. Just trying to get on the good side. And I'm like, wow, looks a little busy this morning. And he's like, yeah. And he's just kind of doing his thing. And I give him my passport. I give him all the papers, and it was just done. He was like, okay, just put your bag there. And he's like, boom, boom. Here's your boarding pass. It's going to be going. He was like, all right, have a great trip. And I was like, getting a little suspicious.
Rodney's still standing at the counter like, come on, I know it's coming.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, hey, this isn't like just some random guy that is like opens up his own little check-in counter. Through security, again, no problem, except for now, at least at San Francisco, you leave your laptop and your iPad and your electronics, you can leave it in your bag.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that some places. But it makes it so confusing because you're like, which country am I in? Okay, here I leave all the computers inside the bags, but I have to take off my shoes and my underwear.
Exactly. Okay, no, okay, underwear off, belt on.
Yeah,
no, wait,
exactly,
one shoe,
exactly.
left shoe, right shoe. And of course I was almost half undressed with my laptop in one hand and my iPad in the other. She's like, oh, you could just leave that in your bag. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I went ahead and got through all that. Had enough time to go eat and take a look at some little knickknacks. Flight back was a lot. I don't know why, but for one, because I had empty seats next to me.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so it just seemed like, I don't know.
Too smooth.
Yeah, I mean, from the whole thing, I'm like, something's going to happen. But yeah, I had open seats next to me. I could put my stuff next to me, and yeah, the flight over was just really nice. Got to Frankfurt, and it was time for the big drum roll, back through customs, check-in, passport. And I was so proud to have my temporary Swedish piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. Notarized, baby. It's
Notarized.
Got the watermark and everything.
With my jail picture. And so I go up to the counter. It's a really young, pleasant-looking guy, and I give him my American passport. And he goes ahead and starts scanning it before I even pull out the Swedish, my Swedish paper stuff. And I like slide it over the counter to him. And I'm like, oh yeah, here's the two. He's like, yeah. And then he gives me my passport back, and he's like, okay. So it was like he didn't even look at my Swedish.
See, that's the moment you take it out and you like slam it up against the bulletproof glass, and you look at my papers. Look at my papers.
Yeah. I was kind of, I was torn. I was like, should I do that? Should I make him look at it? Should I bust out with my COVID shot stuff and all of that?
I know,
but,
right? So much documentation you need nowadays just to travel.
Yeah. So it went incredibly smooth through there. I ended up with, I think it was like 3 hours between my flights.
Oh, wow.
I don't sleep on airplanes. I don't know why. I try to sleep on airplanes. I really do. So I was pretty tired. I was pushing like almost 24 hours or 20 hours of being awake. So I wasn't the rosiest person in the area. And then when it hit me that I had 3 hours to kill at the airport.
That's rough. Every minute feels like 20.
Yeah. It was a long.
Because again, you're traveling by yourself, so you can't do the crash on the floor somewhere or like on like a little side table and have the other person like set an alarm or something. You can't do that when you're by yourself.
Oh no. And I think that people started taking notice because every time I went to do anything, it was like if I went to the bathroom, I had to like get all my stuff packed in my backpack, grab my jacket, and then I go to the bathroom, come back, sit in the exact same seat, unpack, pull out my backpack and stuff. I'm like, I'm a little thirsty. So I go get water. I have to pack all my stuff, and I'm like carrying it.
Yep.
And then you're not allowed to leave your bag, right?
It'll disappear and you'll be arrested next time you turn around.
That plus
I just wanted some water, man.
Yeah, that's it. I think I fell asleep for the last 15 minutes of the flight.
Oh God.
To like Arlanda. So just enough to
refresh
just
you
enough
to get the train ride home.
Yeah, I mean just enough. It was just enough sleep to give me a really good eye burn. I mean, my eyes were like stinging by the time I got off the flight. But it was, it was a good trip back. Unfortunately, I wish I had more exciting. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had more.
Rodney's sitting there like, "Come on, people, I need more content. I do a weekly podcast over here."
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was more drama to it. But anyway, I'm back in Sweden, and
well, I think you've arrived just in time to catch the very, very end of our annual actual cherry blossom season.
Yeah.
because they are out and they're already. I think most places, was it Kungsträdgården was the first
Right.
one, as it normally is because of the way it gets sun. I think everything's around town. There's a few like one-off trees that are still pretty pink, but everything's going white already, which means they're
Right.
about to drop the petals, which for me is the coolest part. Like you feel like you're in one of those 1970s samurai movies, you know, or like an anime
Right.
with the little cherry blossom petals floating through the air. It's
with
incredible.
with just enough breeze to have it go at a slight angle.
Oh yes,
You know,
exactly.
just like a little.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
now I'm counting down. I'm like, okay, that's nice. We all took pictures of it. Now it's time to fall. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. And since I missed it, I was thinking about putting up some pictures from last year or the year before or one of the other 17 years that I've been here taking pictures.
And it's like, those damn cherry blossoms. They're getting stuck in my windshield wipers.
Hey, here's kind of a weird random thought that I had. I wonder what Sean's laughing. He's like,
I
what,
hope
you had
you're
a
sitting
random
down.
right. What if you weren't allowed to take pictures at Kungsträdgården? What if there was like a thing where you?
Oh man, I wish because you see everyone. Was it you that posted the drone photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like someone actually, or they took it from I think it was a drone, but it looks like it was kind of in the NK clock tower thing
Exactly.
from across the street looking down.
Right.
That's because
Yeah.
it's the same picture, people. Everyone
Right.
takes the same pictures. And then
Yeah.
you see everyone pulling the branch down to get the close up, get the macro. And then like you see all the people with still using selfie sticks.
Right.
Like, trying to decapitate a few people. And it's just like, no, just enjoy it. Let it be.
Well, that's why I was thinking if people weren't allowed to take pictures, would that many people still go to experience the cherry blossoms, or would they be like, well, if I can't take a picture of it, I'm not going?
I think so. I mean, there's definitely plenty of the do it for the gram people scattered amongst the crowd
Yeah.
that would be like, well, if I'm not taking pictures, then it's not really happening. But yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, it's still really pretty to look at.
Oh no, it's a fantastic. It's beautiful, when it's happening. I just wonder if, people are getting a little bit too carried away with their pictures. It's like, experience it for real.
But it is that time of season, being that today is May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was the, of course, famous bonfire night.
Yes, Valborg.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you do anything to celebrate?
We did something a little different this year. We had a pretty long day. Well, I mean, every single one of my days this week has been really long, but we actually went to Skarpnäck for a baseball game.
Okay.
Yeah. So Lena came with me, and we went out and saw Stockholm. Had their season opener yesterday. Actually, a ton. I guess all baseball teams around the country had their first season game yesterday.
Nice. What kind of stadium is that? I mean, it's not going to be like an American scale. Like
It's not even a
ballpark.
stadium. It's basically
Like a little league
it's
field.
Yeah, it's a really nice field, but it's a field with, I don't even know. I'm thinking the bleachers, if you packed people into these bleachers, I don't know what you could get. Maybe 50 people or something.
Okay, so like a high school kind of.
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
like that. And the bleachers are behind home plate.
Steel bleachers or wood?
No, they were wood. They were wood.
Of course they were wood. It's in Sweden.
The weather yesterday, it was nice in Nynäshamn, but as we started driving towards the city, it got darker and
Well,
darker.
it did that everywhere. The morning was beautiful and sunny, and it's like it was that kind of temperature where if the sun wasn't out, you'd be wearing like a proper coat.
Yeah.
But with the sun out, you had your short sleeves, and you were like, "Yeah, ready for summer, baby."
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
right about lunchtime, the sun said, "Okay, I'm gonna go take a break now. My union says I have to sit down."
Exactly. Exactly. Well, it was definitely it got really nippy. So I ended up going back to the car and getting like blankets and stuff. So we bundled up, but it was a lot of fun, and I had taken Lena or we had been to a baseball game back in the States before we moved. I think I took her to an Oakland A's game or something, but yeah, and that was. I had gotten tickets from somebody, and we were like up in a VIP.
Oh yes,
like,
the box seats. That's the best because you're just eating the whole time.
Yeah, but I told her, I said, this is probably the first and last time that we're ever going to be in one of these boxes.
Yeah. That's like a twice in your life kind of thing to get that look.
But it was
so
really nice. Yeah, no, we had a really nice time yesterday. Got a little drizzly for a while, but
what kind of concessions? Because I think back to, well, I was originally born outside of Baltimore, so I was raised an Orioles fan.
Yeah.
So I had been to Camden Yards, but then as a teenager, all that stuff, I was outside of Philly. So going in to see the Phillies games, it's like you got your hot dog. You can't do a burger. Hot dog. You can't be doing a burger at a baseball game. Like maybe nachos if you're like one of those kind of people.
Right.
Like the kind of not really there, but yeah, I'll get the nachos, sure.
Yeah.
And then you got to have like the Philly soft pretzel with mustard, yellow mustard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, what's ballpark food here?
It's kind of a standardized affair. They did have nachos. I did see that on there, but
like nacho. Like, how do they do nachos? Because our kind of nachos, you use whiz, like cheese whiz, fake cheese.
Yeah.
And they don't believe in that here.
Well, judging by the hot dogs that we got, I wasn't even going to delve. I wasn't going to go anywhere near nachos. I was thinking, okay. Because the hot dogs were they were just regular Swedish hot dogs that you get at any sporting event where the bread is either frozen or half of it is like rock hard.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that was right around, yeah, that was the limit of our because I don't think that the crowds that they get, they can't.
Yeah, true.
They cannot move enough food to justify bringing in good stuff. But,
yeah, it's like some neighbor with a microwave that they're trying to set up on a folding table.
Yeah, right.
That's the concessions.
When I was working with American football, when I was working with Hugo with American football, we had decided that we were barbecuing like hamburgers, like real nice hamburgers with everything, with the lettuce and the tomatoes and onions and different dressings and ketchup and mustard. And there were a couple people, because we just decided, look, food is not going to be one of the things that they drop us a grade. We need to make sure that we at least that the food. And there were a couple people that I'm sure left there not understanding American football that much better, but I know that they remembered the hamburgers that they had because they were.
That's what counts.
Yeah. So the thing that we did yesterday for Valborg that was a little bit different was that we didn't go. First time since we've been here.
Oh,
yeah. That we didn't go, and I felt really bad. Because we had decided we were going to do kind of movie night thing, but Valborg down here, I think they were going to light the fire like around 8:00. Like,
yeah, you're not going to make that.
Yeah, between 7:30 or 8:00, and I think we watched the end. We watched the end of Spider-Man. Spider-Man took us 2 days because I fell asleep. Like I was snoring. Like we had to anyway.
Oh, it was nice.
It was a mess. So we tried to watch the second half yesterday, and I was fading fast. So right around 8:00, because Lena woke me up a couple times. She's like, "Why don't you just go upstairs?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm just going to go upstairs now."
Yeah, we didn't end up going either. I mean, for us, the past 2 years, we haven't done anything because we would go normally to, was it the Hammarbybacken, the little ski
Yeah,
slope, and then they
yeah,
do
yeah,
a big bonfire at the bottom
Right.
of it. But the past couple years, well, last year because of COVID, they wouldn't do anything. And the couple years before that, they are doing some kind of big construction there that has to do with how the sewage and
That's
trash
right.
pipe
I
system
remember you said
connects
that.
to each other.
Right.
So they didn't have the space to do like
Yeah.
a massive bonfire, so they just didn't do it. So we were like, we're going to try and keep Dylan up and then find something. We're not sure if they're doing that this year. So we ended up doing the same thing. We just did movie nights, and I was flipping through on the Apple TV, you know, what's available to rent, because all the Netflix stuff and the Disney stuff, we've seen everything basically. We did the Spider-Man Homecoming and all that.
Right.
So I was like looking for something different, and I saw like the Batman movie. There's the new Ghostbusters. Okay, that would be interesting. And then
Right.
I see it finally found me. Tenet.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, and I'm just like, oh, but you've seen it already. I'm like, sort of. I've seen half of it, but I've never really heard the movie before.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, I got that on the rental, put it on. What a difference in the sound, like to actually be able to hear stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it still like doesn't make sense unless you've seen the movie 3 times, like I have.
Exactly.
So I'm like trying to pause it and then explain to Hinata, to be like, okay, remember this because in about 2 hours that, you know,
Yeah.
she made it about half of the way, 2/3, and fell asleep. So
You need like cliff notes, you know, some type of.
I can't blame her because it gets so convoluted halfway through that movie. You're just like,
Right.
what?
Yeah, that movie could definitely give you a nosebleed or two, because that will have your gray matter, you know, firing at full speed, trying to figure out what's happening in that movie.
Man, but it was so funny. I was like, if it's here, I gotta watch it.
Right. Well, like I told you, I don't sleep on airplanes, so of course I was going through the movie lists, trying to figure out, you know, how I could fill 10.5 hours. So they have a function, at least on Lufthansa, on their little media thing, where you can put stuff like into your own little movie folder. So you click on the movie and it goes down, and then all of a sudden,
your favorites or whatever.
like your favorites, right? One thing that I saw that I didn't know before was what is is it Gone with the Wind? It's like one of those classics. I think that puppy is like 3 hours and 45 minutes
it's
long.
long.
Yeah. So I didn't watch it, but I had it on reserve. I was like, well, this is like
If I need it, I've got it.
This is like a third of the flight right there, you know. But I think I ended up watching, and this is one of my favorite movies, and I don't know why. Well, I just love it. Moonstruck.
Moonstruck.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's with Cher and Nicolas Cage.
What?
Yeah.
What a pair.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, I just
Because
love that movie.
both of them can't be anyone other than themselves.
Yeah.
Like neither of them can character act.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this. I'm not going to say. I'm not. We'll put it this way: Nicolas Cage was very young, and Cher was youngish, I guess, because it was. I don't know if it was. It must have been 90s. It has to be 90s that came out. But yeah, Nicolas Cage. Anyway, that's. There's probably people out there going, "What, Moonstruck? What are you talking about?" But this from the guy that really likes Armageddon and Roadhouse.
Roadhouse is a classic, man. Classic. Yeah. But I find that's what Netflix, I mean, again, it depends which country you're using Netflix in. But I find Netflix is really good for that kind of stuff. Like the older movies, like I saw, I think last year, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I made it.
Right.
It made it across my feed, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because like it's so nice to go back and watch those movies. Like that's entire movie basically takes place in one scene.
Right.
And it's just wild to think about how someone could produce that. That would never get made today.
Yeah.
But somehow it's just dialogue the whole time, and it just you feel the tension building up in the scene. It's just like wow.
Yeah.
And no Hulk.
No. No. I'm trying to think what's the name of the class? Is it 12 Angry Men?
Yeah, I think so.
That's another one, right? That's like in the jury room.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible. But yeah.
But Moonstruck. Moonstruck kind of made me happy during the trip. I was like a happy Rodney during the trip until the food came.
Oh God.
No, it wasn't that bad. There was no choice. They just
every flight lately is like that.
Yeah, they're just like here.
No, you're gonna get the chicken with pasta and it has mushrooms in it. I'm like, guys, come on, what are we doing here?
Hey, but I'm thinking if they only have, because all they had was pasta. It was just pasta. They're like, here, you're having pasta. You're having pasta. You're having pasta. But if they're giving everybody pasta, I'm thinking, how do you pick a dish that's going to cover everybody?
It's going to be like an Alfredo, right? Some kind of creamy cheese-based sauce, because then they can pack it with salt.
Right, but I'm thinking...
Because when you're in the airplane, that's why airplane food is so weird, because the pressure and the altitude affects your taste buds.
Yeah.
So they have to make the food all weird for that.
But I'm thinking like vegetarian, but I guess those are all meals that if you want them, you have to order ahead.
You got to go buy business class seats for that.
Ahead of time. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now everyone's letting you pre-book a meal. And it's just like,
right,
man, I don't even know if I'm going to want to eat on that plane.
Yeah. Well, and now it makes perfect sense because they were running with food before they came out with the cart. So that must have been all the people, because I'm sitting there going, wait, if you only got one thing to choose from, you know.
And then they would bring like the kids' food to us. They're like, here's the kids' meal.
Oh.
And I'm like, whatever, I will have to eat this because he ain't going to eat it unless I'm eating it. Yeah. This is how this works.
Yeah. It was, and I thought about you guys. When I was on the plane, there were small kids. There were small kids and babies going both ways.
Yeah. I mean, that have to be traveling with someone else, because I don't know about any other parents. We cannot eat at the same time on an airplane.
Right.
One person has to entertain him and hold him down and wrestle that Wolverine, and the other person has to shove the food into their mouth.
Right.
And then you switch.
Yeah, and Lena traveled with Adrian a couple times by herself when I stayed back, and she did home visits. Yeah. But there was one little girl that was having problems, and she just did not. She wanted to sit in her mother's lap, and one flight attendant came over and said that she has to sit by herself, and the screams got louder, and then another flight attendant came, and then all of a sudden there were like 3 flight attendants. That little girl won. Because they went and got one of those bigger extension things for the seatbelt so that she could sit there.
Yep. I mean, we have to give Dylan the window seat so he can open and close the window the whole time. And then he's like putting the seat back tray down and up and down and up and down and up.
Yeah.
And like you can tell the ones who haven't really dealt with the intensity of Dylan before, because they'll come around and be like, yes, he needs to sit in his seat. I'm like, we will take care of it once we start taxiing, okay?
Yeah.
We know what we're doing here.
Yeah. Vodka rocks, please.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Oh my God, that's so true.
Yes. The joys of travel. The joys of travel.
All right, everybody, that is all the time we have for this week. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thanks as always for tuning in. Be sure to go check out our Instagram. We always got something fun and crazy going on. And then come back here next time for more 2 Guys, 3 Crowns.